Good evening everyone, this is Srikanth Rajan and welcome back to the Market Pulse video where we give you the weekly update on what happened in the market last week and what could be expected the next week. So this is for all those people, especially the investors out there, because you don't have to keep a tab on what's happening in the market on a daily basis, but then a weekly update would definitely help you plan your investment in the equity space as well as your total investments outside. Well, let's get going. So to start off with what happened in the stock market in India. So on Monday, we did want to see the market reaction after the Karnataka election results were out. So the market, of course, as we had discussed last week, the markets did not react big anything, but then Monday we could see the market actually going up. So that was fine with it completely. And even we could see the market actually touching going above 18,400, and that was something really positive, isn't it? But then came the profit booking. The big profit booking started kicking in, and we could see the market actually starting to fall. Majorly starting from Wednesday, a big fall. Thursday, an even bigger fall. And on Friday, it was a good fall, taking the market as low as almost just below 18,100. But from there, a smart recovery by end of the day. And we could see the market actually closing in the green on Friday. So I would say this is just a normal consolidation as of now. And technically, if you look at the charts, it actually looks like the market have actually found a support and looks like the market is getting ready for the next leg of rally. But then, is that possible with the problems looming around the US is something that we need to check out. Of course, if you've read the title page of this video, of course, it says, is the market going to crash? In fact, there's a lot of commotion happening in the media where a lot of talk saying that if the US defaults on their bonds, there are high chances that the US stock market can fall down by almost 40 to 45%. Is that so? So what should we do with our investments? So that's the big question. Of course, we will discuss that in detail in this video. So do ensure that you are having complete attention to this video. This is going to be important for every investor here. Now, coming to the market. So if you look at the Indian market started off the week by reacting to the election results, but that was kind of okay. So it was kind of non-event. But after that, the most important data that came in was the WPI, the wholesale price index data. So I've discussed this earlier also. Wholesale price index is a very important data because this gives an insight into future. So if wholesale price index actually come down, which is actually the first time since June 2020, it has actually come down. That's a great thing, that too by almost a percent. So that means it's a big margin, and this actually could lead to a lower consumer price index, that is the inflation data next month. So that's a fantastic news, isn't it? So with that, market should actually be reacting positive. And there were some important results also last week. Majorly, I was looking at three companies, that is L&T, ITC, and of course SBI. So that's something that I'll discuss a little later. But before that, the important thing to note is the last week also, the FIS have continued to be net buyers in the market. Yes, in fact, last week also they bought stocks worth 4,097 crores. 4,097, almost 4,100 crores last week, while the DIS continued to book profit. In fact, something interesting I would like to tell you is, if you see, they had actually bought almost 7,000 crores worth of shares the previous week, bringing the total inflow, FII inflow into Indian stock market this month at 17,300 crores. Almost 17,376 crores. So that's something amazing. The huge amount of fund coming into India is definitely inspiring confidence, because this actually means that the FIAs have a big expectation from Indian stock market. So that's absolutely a great news. Now, of course, DIIs who have been on a continuous buying mode all these months have definitely been on the profit booking side, and they have been the culprits for the market actually falling down. Because even when the markets actually fell on Wednesday, Thursday, on all these days, the FIAs were net buyers, and it was more of the retailers and the DIAs booking their profit in this kind of scenario. So that was actually a great thing to see. So it is not a bad thing. In fact, one thing I really appreciate is, if you look at a personal portfolio, I'm sure all of you who are MPIM family members, your portfolio should be looking really good right now after the markets have actually started moving up. And if I say for this financial year, I'm already sitting with almost 8% return additional, 8% increase in my portfolio right from the 1st of April. So that's something looking really good. Of course, major contribution came in from ITC, and of course a few other stocks which have actually done really well. So I actually took a time to book some partial profits in some good stocks where I was holding a good sum of money. But then interestingly, another thing that happened good in our portfolio was the auto sector and FMCG sector along with IT sector have started performing well. There are few stocks, laggards I would say, who have not been performing for some time, who have started performing. If you look at Zensatech, has been having a dream run of late, and along with that, if you see the stocks like Sona Comstar in the auto sector and also Sansera and Tata Motors have started their dream run kind of in the last few weeks. So these are few stocks which has actually contributed to the growth in my portfolio. And of course, I'm not recommending anything here in the public forum because that's not my job. I am not a SEBI registered analyst, but of course, I'm just sharing this for your information. So, well, these are few stocks which have actually worked wonders in my portfolio. And not only that, if you look at the important results that came by last week, that was ITC, or even if you look at SBI and L&T, all of them were really good. In fact, SBI, in fact, it was surprising because SBI came out with the results on Thursday, which was the result, expiry. And on that day, after coming out with such good results, in fact, their profit have grown, surpassing the expectation. But after all that, still the market did not react positive. So that's completely okay, because if I've told you earlier also, people have, those who have been buying SBI and expecting the results to be good would actually think of booking profit during such scenario, because SBI actually came out with a result which was better than expectation. So nothing to really worry about it. But then, of course, I am personally expecting it to go up. So I am actually holding some good amount of investment in SBI right now. Well, again, not a recommendation. I don't recommend stocks here. Well, apart from that, if you look at ITC, and not only ITC, if you look at generally the FMCG companies like Jubilant Foods and also Devyani for international. So these are few companies which also came out with the results. So if you see, the results were not great because their revenues continue to be strong, but the profits are dipping. So that was something not good. But is that something new? Definitely not. I was kind of expecting it, and I think we have discussed this earlier also, isn't it? That FMCG companies are facing problem majorly because of the inflation going up. So their input cost went up. Initially, they could not pass it on to the consumers, and now they've actually started rising the prices. And that is kind of a good scenario. And now with inflation going down, do you think these FMCG companies are going to reduce the prices? Definitely not. So this is where the profits are going to come. And that's exactly why I am analyzing this as a good opportunity to actually invest into the FMCG stocks. So I am actually invested already well into some good stocks like Nestle, ITC, Hindustan Unilever, and these are some good stocks which I am expecting to perform as we go ahead as well. So that's something which is on the card. So if you see, Devyani also is looking good. Similarly, Jubilant Foods is another stock which I'm invested in, which has been having a long period of underperformance. So with that, I'm kind of expecting it to perform better. So with that, I've added some quantity there. So that's something which I wanted to share with you. So apart from that, if you look at the market, we could see Indigo results coming in, and Indigo also came out with record-breaking results. Naturally, as inflation is going down and more flyers flying, and the only stock that is reliable right now in the aviation sector in India, it's natural for them to hit 52-week high. So what's happening? So there are, which are the other stocks? If you look at SpiceJet, it's a listed company, but no, the company is in trouble. Go Air is in trouble. Apart from that, maybe Tatas are in a good position, but then they are not listed as such as a special aviation company. So the only aviation company which is listed is, of course, Indigo, which is kind of giving some positivity to it. And Indigo has been hitting a 52-week high. But if you ask me, is this a good time to add Indigo? Definitely not, is what I feel. Again, no recommendations there. But then, yes, because the price has actually gone up so much. Not that Indigo is a very profitable, amazing company, but then there's no option, a good option in the aviation sector right now. So that is kind of probably pulling in the money from the market into the aviation sector in Indigo. If at all something comes better, then probably people might start moving out there. And at this point of time, not a great time to add, but of course I have some holding in Indigo. This is just for information. So apart from that, Now, as the inflation is set to ease, one thing that we know is that most of the central banks will start stopping the rate hikes. So, of course, India has already done that. Expectation is that Federal Reserve also will be doing that in the next FOMC meeting. So, if that happens, that's a great news for the market. But then, like I've told you earlier, there's a cycle in the market. So, whenever the inflation goes up, it's a natural procedure where the central banks start increasing the rates. After some time, they pause increasing the rates, and from there, after a certain time, even think of reducing the interest rates. And that phase is when we generally see a bull run in the market. So that's exactly what I am kind of waiting for, and that's exactly why I'm kind of increasing my positions in the equity sector as we go further. But then, with all this, there are some concerns coming in from the US at this point of time. Now, if you look at the Indian market for now, Indian market was on a dream bull run for last few weeks, but from there has taken a pause this week. But the way the market has actually ended on Friday, it looks like market has kind of found its bottom somewhere close to 18,080 to 100 levels. So that's 18,080 to 18,100 levels. So that kind of looks like a good support zone to me. So unless that is broken, so again, let me tell you, I am not a person who judges or predicts the market, but then these are just my anticipation and expectations. So what I'm sharing is my feeling, and I'm not a SEBI analyst, just to repeat that again. So I'm looking at the market this way, that I'm not predicting the market, but then if the market stays above 18,100 to 1880 levels, then there are high chances the market can actually go higher. Unless 18,000 is broken on the lower side, I'm not expecting markets to get weaker. But of course, this can happen in a short term, not immediately in this week. So that may or may not happen this week, because I'm more of kind of expecting on a slightly longer term. So, but of course, markets are looking good at this point of time. Major results are all over. SBIN was the major last result which I was expecting. So now that is also over. Of course, there are small other companies coming out with their results this week, but then nothing that can add some power to the market at this point of time. So otherwise, even if you see, of course, the DMart is another stock which is in my view for some time. Not really added my positions there, but if I get an opportunity, I might think of adding. Similarly, like I told you about hospitals. So these are few sector that I am lacking right now in my portfolio. So I would be looking at adding that in the upcoming weeks. So this is for a stock investor. But if you are a mutual fund investor, that is indirectly investing into stocks, which majority of us are, I would say, see, the market has seen a good correction. From 18,400 has come to close to 18,100 level. So though if you have missed the opportunity in the previous run, it is time that you actually pull up your socks and get investing mode on a SIP basis. Now, this is what we're speaking about in India. But then what are the problems that we could see in the near term? So the first one, of course, is, a good news that actually came in on 19th, which was the meeting, Jerome Powell, who is a Federal Reserve chairman from the US, had actually come out and spoken his views about the market. So he, in fact, in the speech actually said that the way the data are coming up, he's actually felt that probably the markets, may not see a rate hike anymore and further in the US market. So that actually is a positive thing. But then, of course, this debt ceiling issue is something which is kind of, getting elongated, because both the parties in the US have not been able to come to an agreement on the debt ceiling issue, which is not a great thing. Now, see, if at all US defaults the bonds, which is, the payout is expected by 1st of June, that is going to be a very, very dangerous thing. Not India specific, it is a problem, US specific, but then naturally, US being the global leader, one problem there and such a big problem there can actually throw the market down by maybe 40-45%. So that's exactly what the media says. Now, let me tell you my views on this. Well, again, it's my personal view. Let me tell you that I am not expecting a decision not coming out within this period, because US government themselves know that US market has been in trouble for some time now. See, already few banks got into trouble. Silicon Valley Bank, the First Republic Bank, these banks have shut down already. So right now that no other banks have come out with problems, looks like the banking sector problems is kind of getting settled. But at this point of time, if the US actually thinks of again putting the country into trouble, that could be a major hit to the economy. And naturally, that could see a big fall in the US market. And if the US market falls big, it could actually lead to a bigger fall in developing countries like India and other places. But then that could be more of a knee-jerk reaction for India, I would say, because it would be just the fear of the first thing. But again, 99% chances it will not happen is what I feel. So this is just for your information. So one thing I'll tell you, if there is media writing that, 45% it will fall down, 35% it will fall down, people are just making a mockery of the scene is what I feel. Now it's simple. Nobody ever in the world can predict what's going to happen in the market. So if somebody is going to predict that the market is going to fall in the next few months, or it is going to rise in the next few months, I am telling you, you write down my words, it is not possible for anyone to predict the market. On a longer term, of course, things are looking really positive for any of these markets right now. But then I would say this is just something which this is just trying to instill fear into the market. And I don't see any reason. So that is the reason I always encourage an SIP mode of investment into the market. So if you're an investor, just keep away all these news aside and simple focus and go on investing in SIP mode, have a proper asset allocation and proper risk management, and definitely you could be really successful in the investment space. And if you need support for that, that's exactly where we come in. Managing your asset classes, managing your risk portfolio, managing your risk management for your investments by splitting into the proper asset classes and building a great portfolio that could deliver great returns. Of course, SEBI says that we should never tell about the future returns. So of course, I'm not going to say any numbers here, but then of course, I have been seeing that happening to my portfolio, and that's exactly what I share as an information from my side. Well, I don't manage any portfolios for anyone. So, well, these are a few things which we do. So apart from that, if you look at the next week, so next week we don't have any major action except for the debt ceiling, issue in the US. Whereas India is concerned, there's nothing happening except the monthly expiry. So this month, 25th is the monthly expiry this Thursday, because of which volatility is continuing to be high. In fact, as I've been telling this earlier also, the options trading in India or derivative trading in India today has become one of the largest in size in the entire world, which is kind of bringing, of course, concerns, but then is also bringing a lot of volatility into the market. Things are getting tougher and tougher for a trader in the market. Even we hit a stop loss last week, but then I'm glad that decently we have made some profit in the last week as well. So that is something that's happening right now. The markets are so volatile, and especially when the markets are going to see a monthly expiry, the volatility is just going to continue more. So with all that, definitely this week is going to see a lot of volatility in the market, but any dip in the market could be an opportunity for you to even add a few fund into mutual fund or to some good stocks to your portfolio. So that's something I'm expecting right from the market point of view. Now, the next important thing, if you want to invest in an FD, this is the best time again investing into FD. But I personally recommend not to invest into a FD, because the best way to actually invest would be to invest with the insurance, because right now FD, of course, many banks are giving like 8-9% return, but then after 8-9%, if you're in the 30% bracket, if your 30% of your returns are going into income tax, what is the point in investing in FD? So I actually, if you are wanting to invest some fund into a fixed return asset, then the best one would be investing into a good insurance. Of course, we can help you deciding that as well. So the best part of investing in insurance is any investment up to 5 lakhs per year right now will be going to get not only tax exemption in ATC, but also the returns are tax exempted. That means you're going to save on your taxes and your net return will be at least about 6% plus. So that's a great thing. And the best part is your investment is also insured. So if at all something happens to us during this period, even if our investment has not grown, our family is definitely getting that money for sure. So I always prefer investing into a insurance than a FD. when it comes to a safer deposit investment. Of course, my investment there is almost zero, I would say, because my major investment has been into the equity market. But if you are a person who is not somebody who wants to take a lot of risk, then of course you can connect with us. We can get you the right investment options available there for your fixed returns part. Apart from that, if you look at this week, and there is a FOMC minutes of the meeting which was held in May, which is going to come out on 24th. So the May, of course, this month, what are the monetary policy happened? The minutes of the meeting are going to come out on 24th. That's not going to be a great event because, of course, people know that Federal Reserve right now feels that they don't see a reason for the rate hike further. So even the inflation has been kind of getting tamed in the US as well as India. India already it's tamed and already under the target of RBI. So that actually is good. But if you look at the US also is kind of taming down. That is a great thing, and that actually could mean that it may not be an event as such. But then the focus would be on the expectation of the debt ceiling issue to be resolved by 23rd, which is Tuesday. So Tuesday night, we might see some big movement in the US. If that a debt ceiling issue is resolved, we could probably see the market kind of looking to rally. If you see US market, which are in a continuous fall, has tried to rally just by the news that the debt ceiling issue might be resolved this on the next week. So if just the news of resolving debt ceiling issue is taking the market up, there are high chances that the market can actually see a better rally. So if if you're a trader, I would of course not look at adding a lot of heavy positions on Tuesday night. Maybe Wednesday could be a good day to take a trade properly with heavy investment if at all you want to. So that's something which is expected for this week. Apart from that, no other major event is looked at. So the markets are looking good as of now. So let me repeat again quickly. The market has seen a decent correction last week. So a good time to go on SIP mode of investment if you want to do it right now. If you are just waiting for the market to recover, I am telling you, my friend, you're going to lose an opportunity again. But I am kind of really bullish on the next 2 years where the way the Indian market is going to fly up. And of course, I am kind of increasing my investment to the equity space in this upcoming few months. So that's exactly what I'm doing. And of course, I am announcing it here as well. So more details on day-to-day data on the daily podcast that we do. So of course, it was slightly lengthier today, 21 minutes, I think. But I think I'm sure the information that we discussed here is something that's helpful to you. Do comment below on any questions that you have. And if you're loving this session that we do on Sunday, again, do comment your feedbacks in the comment section below. That of course motivates us a lot. And of course, like button is something very important. Do that. And I'm sure you should subscribe as well if you're not subscribed yet. So that's it for now. This is Srikanth Rajan signing off until we catch up on the podcast, regular podcast tomorrow morning. See you. Have a great week ahead. And for MPA family members, let's catch up at 7:30 on the link that I will be sharing in the group. If you're not a part of the MPA family yet, it's completely free. All you need to do is just contact us on the number mentioned below in the description. And I'm sure my team will help you be onboarding with MPA family. Goodbye. Have a great week ahead. This is Srikanth Rajan signing off.